Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Sharon Fetter, the publisher of Mashable. David Jones is global CEO of Havas and Euro RSCG Worldwide and co-founder of One Young World, the premier global youth forum that brings together under 25-year-olds of leadership caliber to address some of the world's most challenging issues. David is at the forefront of the next generation in advertising, the youngest global CEO in the history of the ad industry in 2005, and now the youngest global CEO of major holding company. David has made a name for himself as a driving force for change, both within his own agency and in the broader industry and world, this year being nominated by CR Magazine for Responsible CEO of the Year. Today, he'll talk about One Young World and bring three ambassadors to the stage: Erin Schrode, Michael Teoh, and Kwadwo Ofori Owusu.
Good afternoon. I think if you're all here today, it's obvious that you must be good and nice people because you've come to an event all about social good. But what I thought I'd do just to kick off is find out whether we've got a room full of optimists or a room full of pessimists. So we're going to use a highly interactive research tool, your hand. I'm going to ask you whether you're optimists or pessimists, and you're going to basically vote. So all those people who think that the future of the world is going to be more positive and things are going to get better, please put your hand up now. Okay. And then all of those who think the future of the world is bad and bleak and gloomy and grim, please put your hand up now. Okay, so we have a room overwhelmingly of optimists. The bad news for the pessimists is that you're wrong, but being pessimists, you're probably quite happy about that. For the optimists, it leads into why I actually believe you're right, and why I think we have a much better future ahead of us. And it's the subject of the next 25 minutes, and it's titled Youthquake, the Power of Young People and Technology to Effect Positive Change. Sorry, go back. So I think, it's interesting. At the moment, we have all of the world's leaders kind of descending on New York from the UN, the CGI meeting, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's an interesting moment for world's leaders because we're seeing so many of the world's leaders actually failing to lead. And be it on debt or on climate or on a lot of the stuff that's going on in some of the not necessarily open regimes. And I think one of the things for me is that if the world's leaders actually listen to the brilliant young people around the world, they may be able to find some of the solutions to their challenges and problems. And I think we're seeing increasingly brilliant young people using technology to affect positive change. So take Oscar Morales, created the single biggest anti-terrorism movement in history, using Facebook to create the Million Voices Against the FARC. It led to 12 million people marching in 200 cities. He's been described by Hillary Clinton's administration as the world's largest ever anti-terrorist organization. Facebook talk about him as probably the most significant Facebooker ever. Fast forward to this year, Welgonim, the Google employee who used Facebook to create an entire movement against the regime in Egypt. The Arab Spring was one of the consequences of that. And I think we're seeing more and more examples of this. And that's because this generation of young people, and I guess Oscar and Whale are over 30, so they're positively ancient compared to our wonderful One Young World ambassadors. But what I think we have is a really unique generation. And we often say things are unique. I think this time it's actually true. And it's a few things. Firstly, they're the most knowledgeable generation of young people we've ever seen. So technology has given them access to unlimited information. Secondly, they're the most powerful generation of young people we've ever seen. The people who understand the most about digital and social and the revolution that's taking place are the people under 25, not the people over 50. And I think finally, and importantly, they're the most responsible generation of young people we've ever seen. And we did a big global study last year, and 84% of the world's young people believe that it is their duty to change the world for the better. 82% believe they can change the world for the better. And when asked what they thought the single biggest driver of change in the world would be over the next decade, it wasn't politics or business or government. It was the people empowered by social media. So that's kind of the context and background to why we created a thing called One Young World. The whole idea behind One Young World is it's an open source platform to give the brilliant young people of the world a stage to drive and create and affect positive change. So rather than being a very clever 19-year-old doing something amazing in South Africa, they can be a very clever 19-year-old who comes from this organization, One Young World. It's a not-for-profit. It's also a not-for-influence. We held the second event 10 days ago in Zurich. The inaugural event was in London last year. It brought together the event we had 10 days ago, 1,300 people from 170 countries around the world. So the only event that brings together more people from more countries is actually the Olympic Games. And what I thought I'd do before I actually hand over to the most interesting part of the day, which is to hear from 3 of our brilliant One Young World ambassadors, is just share with you a quick video to give you a flavor for what One Young World is. Now, we're amongst friends, so I can show you something that's a work in progress. This is 10 days old. The event was 10 days ago, so this is literally the first cut of the video, but it should help give you a flavor for what it's all about. So if we could play the video, please.
It's an incredible privilege to be here with you.
I love being here because I'm dying to see what you guys do.
I had to be here. I had to be here. The fantasy and the ideas and the passion of young people and what young people can do.
All around the world today, we are seeing the world's leaders failing to actually lead.
You have to get us out of this mess because we have failed.
This amazing group of councillors believe that you can change the world for the better. Please do it.
You're the pilots now, guys.
Did you see your head?
Our generation must recognize its power as consumers
I think I just pushed
and its responsibility as citizens of this planet to support businesses demonstrating concrete emissions targets, but also publicly hold accountable those that do not.
We need to demand an end to fossil fuel subsidies.
Global businesses must take responsibility to human dignity.
We should not underestimate the power of social media to promote democracy.
There is no magic in the tools. The magic is actually in the application.
The world started to listen and the world started to care.
That's the younger generation, this enormous collective power that you have.
You are a generation that knows more about social and digital media and how you actually use that to drive and affect positive change.
Fear, anger, disbelief. These were some of the feelings I, a Norwegian Muslim, felt when I first heard about the terror attack in Norway the 22nd of July.
We cannot undo what is done, but we can choose to stand by our values.
Those who strip humanity from religion are your enemy, not the religion itself.
This summit is the start of our campaign to make business, government and leadership work for us in the digital age.
That wasn't me. Inspired by you, we're creating the One Young World Social Business Fund.
Wow.
I would like to thank David and Kate for making this all happen.
Our politics does not understand that any one of you can form a political lobby for change now.
Let us, as One Young World, send one message. World, this is a wake-up call.
So, I thought I'd push the button, but I hadn't. It was obviously an error backstage. But in terms of just one point on social media, this is an event that is designed to be an event as part of a process. It lives on and in social media. In terms of global reach, we got to 188 million people from 83 countries, if you count up all the tweets and retweets. The live streaming audience, there's 1,300 delegates there, but live stream followed by 13,234 people from 156 countries and 2,473 cities. The YouTube channel got 31,000 views from 26,800 people in 9 days, so a pretty big reach. But what I thought, and some of you may have seen me speak at Mashable Connect, I thought rather than kind of showing up and doing the same speech again, just sort of 12 months on, that I'd actually bring the proof of what I talked about, what a brilliant young generation this is, and how socially responsible they are. So I'm delighted to bring with me today 3 One Young World ambassadors. Erin Schrode is a One Young World ambassador from the USA. She is 19. She founded Teens Turning Green at the very old age of 13. She's literally just flown in from Haiti, and she'll be talking to you about one of the things she did coming out of last year's One Young World Summit, which is all about the school bag project. Michael Teoh is the One Young World ambassador, or a One Young World ambassador from Malaysia. Michael put together a report using social media to get 35,000 people's views and opinions coming into the first One Young World Summit. He then presented the results of that to the Malaysian Prime Minister. He was named as Malaysia's 2010 Young Social Entrepreneur of the Year, and he's just been selected and won Your Big Year, which was a contest to bring together the most socially responsible young people in the world, and I think 45,000 people from 150 countries applied, and he just won. And then Kwadwo Ofori Owusu, who I knew I was going to butcher your surname, is a brilliant One Young World ambassador from Cape Town. He's an economics and law student. He's also very involved in the whole township debating movement, where they go out into the poor townships around South Africa, around Cape Town, and actually teach them the importance of debating and logical reasoning, and also look to improve language skills. He's also been very involved in a movement he'll talk about, which is the Missing Millennium Development Goal. So guys, on that note, over to you.
Thank you. I'm on a mission to end apathy. How? Education, or as we say in today's world, edu, straight to the point, save characters for purposes of Twitter. I am an optimist, I raised my hand on the first one, David, that truly believes in the power of individual action and collective efforts to shift a global paradigm. It's the only thing that ever has, and we need it big time right now more than ever. As David said, yesterday I woke up in Haiti. I'm there delivering school supplies to primary school students as a part of an initiative, a nonprofit I launched called the School Bag, after working there in disaster relief in 2010. And we are going around giving notebooks, pens, and pencils, the most basic supplies to kids, to give them that hope, that opportunity. I believe there is truly no more sustainable an investment. The chance that they'll have the means by which to become productive members of our society. And I had a little bit of a wake-up call. I got to Haiti with a team of 5 volunteers, and the pens weren't there, and the pencils weren't there, and the bags weren't there. They were caught in customs. And I sat there with my team, and I said, okay, guys, plans are going to change. Our distributions are going to be a little thinner this next couple weeks, but we're showing up. And it's that presence. It's what Monique was talking about, taking the power of social media, the power of activism to reach the masses with our messages and physicalizing them. Volunteering. It's about being the catalyst, proving that you, that I can spark the change, can shift the mindset. I saw last week at One Young World with 1,300 of my peers that we have the tools at our fingertips. So you all that are apathetic have no more excuses. It's about quality impressions, you, me, him, her, whoever. We're raising awareness, that's step 1, and we can amplify this information, we can connect, and we can harness the power of collective action. So that hyperconnectivity, that unfiltered feedback, the response, that's scary. That's what challenges governments. That's what challenges corporations to do better. And we're starting young. Our generation, there's no limits upon what we are able to accomplish. But it's what's in our mental capacity, what's in our hearts, It's about showing up. It's about you, and Desmond Tutu looked in the audience and he pointed, he said, you and you and you and you and you. Everyone, because it's 1 + 1. It's a movement. It's a global place to be, and the intersection of youth and technology. That's magic. We do the marketing, we do the strategizing, the critiquing. You all know these are social media experts, but this is what people have to realize, that we, by connecting, by sitting in our rooms at night, by having access at school, can shift a paradigm. So be there as an activist, literally shaking things up. We're talking about a Youthquake. We're talking about One Young World. Michael's going to talk about Wake Up Call. Nancy's going to be here. Do something. Just do it responsibly. With Teens Turning Green, we're launching Project Green Challenge this October. 30 simple steps to take your life from conventional to conscious. I don't want you to take more time out of your day. I know what it's like to not have a spare minute. But I also know what it's like to shift the way you do things. And it only takes a few small areas. It's education. And in our case, that's social media, the place in which we spend most of our time actualizing, physicalizing. I'm a people person. I love everything that's social tech, social impact, and now social good. So we may be quasi-apathetic, but the immersion in technology, that is how we can get behind this. And technology is only in its infancy. So world, watch out. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Darwin states that life forms evolve to adapt throughout the ages. Genghis Khan created the world's largest empire by rallying support from his troops with his bird messengers. The mighty Chinese dynasty army controlled their thousands of soldiers through the gongs of drums. This is a wake-up call. A movement that started a Twitter top trending trend around the world just 10 days ago in Zurich. But that action happened, and it was possible because there was no procrastination. It was an immediate action by 1,300 young people to tweet, to inform their peers, their parents, their teachers, everyone back in their country that it's time to wake up and do good for the world. All this is made possible, ladies and gentlemen, through technology. This 1,300 youths had access to technology infrastructures like laptops and cell phones. They had access to internet connectivity. They have the knowledge on how to use them. And more importantly, they have the ease and the familiarity on peer-to-peer influence on managing them. Now, this just shows the power of social media. This also shows the power of young people, without procrastination, attempting to change our world. A global project I've been involved in is called Your Big Year, which started off as a social media experiment at the same time. It was a competition hosted online to crowdsource support for people to volunteer. Within a mere 6 months, they have managed to reach out to 45,000 people from 168 countries, all vying for the chance to raise funds for their charitable bodies, to volunteer, and to do good for their society. I have been really blessed to be elected as the first global ambassador, which I've spent more than 12 months now, volunteering in more than 20 projects and countries, helping disadvantaged people in rural communities and participating in environmental causes. From tangible outcomes like building wells for families in Peru, to building shelters for the hardcore poor in Colombia, to climbing or trekking through the Canadian Rockies to promote climate change awareness. All these results, where 500,000 people were potentially impacted, was possible because of a vision to tap into the collective power of young people through social media. And last but not least, a project from my home country, Malaysia, close to my heart. What started off as a report back in 2010 to crowdsource 35,000 young people's ideas and concerns about the world's problems that turned into the One Young World Youth Report have again evolved into a solution-based report which was presented in Zurich this year, highlighting the efforts of 68 youth leaders from Malaysia, changing the lives of more than 100,000 people, all of them using mostly technology. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope to all the businesses gathered here to join in a rally to get more youths in developing worlds to use technology, to get them more educated, more aware of the benefits of technology, and to give freedom to support the development, to support facilities and ideas of application that would help our world. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, it was technology that got our men landed on the moon. It was technology that got us to monitor, to evaluate, and to select our world leaders today. And I believe to all the youths watching this right now, it is our time to use technology innovatively and socially responsible to help affect change in our world. Thank you.
There is a South African philosophy called Ubuntu, which says, Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. A person is a person through other people. What's interesting is that this teaching exists in more or less the same form throughout all the major religions of the world and has come to be known as the Golden Rule. It was in recognition of this fact and the fact that so many of the troubles plaguing the world today are caused by or have to do with religious conflict, that 3 young people from 3 different parts of the world came together at One Young World in London in 2010 and decided, no more violence in the name of religion. Development, and especially the attainment of most of the Millennium Development Goals, is hindered by the fact that people can't even get past their religious differences, those beliefs that they hold at their cause. That's how the missing Millennium Development Goal came to be. They used social media, especially Twitter and Facebook, to rally people from across the world, people of every religion and those that are not religious, to get on board and sign the global petition to get the UN to adopt interfaith dialogue as the missing Millennium Development Goal. They've presented in Brazil and at the UN. They've got support from greats like Kofi Annan and even got the signature of Archbishop Desmond Tutu at One Young World Summit last month, well, actually at the beginning of this month. Such is the power of young voices, especially when aided by the amazing new social tools that we have to communicate today. Now, at home in South Africa, just as most of Africa, connectivity is a big issue. Not only is there limited access to internet and computers, but data costs are so high in South Africa that even those who have got access to data-enabled devices find it hard to stay connected. But one thing that seems to have taken Africa by storm, at least technologically speaking, is something that Valerie Amos and Monique Coleman alluded to earlier today: mobile phone technology. Young African people are using their phones to stay connected. Now, I work with an organization in South Africa called the Township Debating League, and what we do is we teach debating to high school learners in the townships of Cape Town with the aim of increasing their ability to speak publicly, and some of the most critical skills that they need as members of an engaged society, like critical thinking and argumentation. Up until recently, we had no presence on social media at all. And one of the amazing things that has just happened is that we've just moved onto Facebook. And beautifully, our learners, our poor high school learners in the townships of Cape Town, many of whom can barely speak English, are getting involved with each other, communicating, debating online, on Facebook and on Twitter. They are changing their worlds, changing their own lives. That is the power of social media. There is a growing call for young people to take increasing control of their lives in this world, of their societies, of their futures. This call is being heard in Tahrir Square and on the streets of London, in rural South Africa and in Rio, It is rippling across the seas and causing a youthquake on every continent. It's a wake-up call. Thank you.
So just to conclude, a quick plug. Jamie Oliver did a wonderful job for us as a One Young World Councillor this year. He's actually at the UN presenting a whole thing around the issue of obesity and food and the number of people who die every year because of that. So he's got a petition. He's aiming to get 1 million signatures. So if all of you and all the people who are connected to you could get on Jamie's petition and sign it, we hopefully can, or he hopefully can get the 200,000 people missing to get to 1 million signatures. That was like a momentary interlude from One Young World. And then two final things. So if you're excited about the brilliant young people in the world, excited about helping them to make a difference, there are two very specific ways you can do it tied into this session. The first one is, you may have seen in the video, we created the One Young World Social Business Fund. So if you either have a brilliant socially responsible idea or money to fund one, please get in touch. Go to the One Young World website. You can find everything about it there. And finally, One Young World 2012 will be taking place in Pittsburgh in the USA, and One Young World 2013 will be taking place in Johannesburg in South Africa. If you know brilliant young people as good as these three who should be attending, if you know amazing counsellors who would want to come on board for free, because all of those people you saw in the video come and turn up and give their time for free, we don't pay anybody. If you want to get involved and sponsor some brilliant delegates, again, please get in touch with me. And I guess I'll conclude on a really interesting conversation that we had in the back room with Whale and Oscar at One Young World, and we're just talking about technology has given this amazing ability to actually bring regimes down, bring companies down, et cetera, et cetera. But what it hasn't done is it doesn't actually create leaders. And I think one of the things we can do as oldies is actually try and help bring this brilliant young generation through and make them into better leaders. Because the biggest thing that's missing in Egypt today is they've taken the regime down, but no one's yet stood up to be the leader that takes it forward. So thank you very much, and a particular thank you to you three for coming from so far.